Hey folks, I'm Rob.
And I'm Nathan.
And we are
Two Guys in a Ride.
Say, Nate, where are we at today? There should be like a sign or something.
Yeah, there should be a sign somewhere. Hey, we are at the SCCA Jack Pine Sprints at the Brainerd International Raceway in Brainerd, Minnesota.
That's right, and we're going to bring you some race footage, but more importantly, we're going to talk to some of the drivers and get their perspective and find out why they like racing and what has gotten them into this. So before we do that, Nathan,
click on the subscribe button down below and ring that bell notification so you never miss a video.
That's right. So what do you say, Nate?
Oh, let's go to the races. Hi folks, I'm Nathan with Two Guys in a Ride, and today we're here at the Brainerd International Raceway, and we're here with Tim Holmes, and Tim has agreed to talk with us and about his beautiful car behind us. So, Tim, to start with, how did you get into racing?
Well, I've always been a fan of racing, always wanted to race, watch the Indy, all that sort of stuff.
Okay.
And back in about 2006, I happened to meet a guy at Road America.
Okay.
I was always going to the races there and the June sprints, etc. So I got to be friends with him, and he asked me, he says, "Hey, next year do you want to share a ride with me?" And I said, "Well, heck yeah." So I started racing in a 280ZX in ITS, and I raced that for a year with a guy named Ken Bonneau.
Okay.
And so we did that, and then I ended up buying this car, which was just a street car.
Okay.
And my intention was to build a race car. I'd never built a race car before, and I've kind of got a mechanical background.
Okay.
So I thought, well, I'll do that. So I bought the car, started working on it, stripped it down to bare metal completely. There isn't even an original paint on this. This started
completely
like
frame off restoration.
Absolutely. And so I built it from the ground up, got the roll cage installed, did everything, and so that's kind of how I got started. And then I had a chance to buy a fully built race car while I was working on this one from a guy named Ken Kennard out of the Milwaukee region. Very fast racer, and it was a bright yellow car, and I just absolutely loved it. I had become friends with him for about 10 years, and then it became available for sale. Price was right, bought it, ran it for 4 years, blew up a motor or two, and just had a great time doing it, and then sold it, and then finished building this car.
Wow.
So that's kind of the backstory.
Yes, all right. And so you had actually you'd actually raced a Datsun. Well, that's one of the first things that you raced.
Correct.
And then you're back to this 240Z.
Yep.
And what year was this?
This is a 71.
71.
Right.
Okay, so let's talk about some of the modifications that you've made when you rebuilt it.
Okay, well, basically, changing the suspension to coil-over suspensions is one of the big things, both front and back.
Okay.
And you can see that in the front.
Oh, pretty.
We have the camber there, and so that was kind of one of the big things. And then I've got a Speedway Engineering roll bar, which is about that thick on the front end, and of course, originally I built this car for E-production, and it's a little heavy for E-production, probably by about 100, 120 pounds.
Okay.
But I also went with thicker roll bars just from a safety standpoint, and I didn't cut every little piece of metal out of it like you can do in E-production.
Okay.
So it's a little bit more of a vintage car, obviously, and so doing all of that, it ended up kind of a labor of love. So
obviously. I mean, you can see that just from looking at this. I mean, this is beautiful to look at. So, how many horsepower do you think you're producing?
Funny you ask me that. This is a new engine to me.
Okay.
I was at Road America 3 weeks ago, and I blew up a motor, and put the number 3 rod through the wall of the cylinder of the block. And this motor I got from a guy who's retired from active racing in e-production.
Okay.
And we just put it in, and this is running close to 200 horsepower.
Okay.
And it's an e-production motor, so it's 12-to-1 compression and a 500ths lift cam, so it is limited in what it can do. So.
And about how many foot-pounds of torque, roughly?
Oh, that's a really good question. I'm not really sure.
Do you think it'll be more or less than the horsepower, or right about the same?
It's close.
Okay.
I've got the dyno sheets in the trailer, but it's close. So it really pulls well. In fact, all of my shift points around Brainerd here, I've really got to change them. Just out in practice, I noticed all the difference. It's revving much higher. Is
this the first time you've used this engine in a race?
Yes.
So wow, this is really brand new.
This is the first time on track with this motor.
Okay, so if you have other questions about the motor for people who don't understand, not used to seeing a racing motor, obviously you've got what would appear to be some these carburetors coming off the motor.
These are triple Webers. They're the 45 DCOEs, and they're completely tunable. And once you get them right, they're just perfect. They run really nice.
Okay, and what is this?
This was one of my improvements this year. I bought the Kaminari distributor, which is a kind of a spendy distributor for the Datsuns, and that comes with its own little brain box, and then this is a new coil.
Okay.
And put all of that on this year, and it seems to run a lot better than what I had with the original Datsun points distributor.
Okay. And what would be the silver and the red tank in the
corner?
corner?
Those are just catch tanks for oil and water.
Okay.
Required by the rules. So.
And then your oil filter. Man, I want you to do my motor. I like where your oil filter is. Very nice and easy to get off.
It runs up to the oil cooler in the front there, and so it keeps the oil at about 205, 210 degrees on the track.
So with all the work that you've done on this car, do you have an engineering degree or a design, something in design?
Well, actually, in school I was mechanical design engineering.
Okay.
And I've just always been handy with tools and stuff, and I can, I can wrench on stuff, I can bolt stuff together, I can read something and kind of interpret it. So it just kind of fell hand in hand. So.
Wow. Let's talk about the interior of the car. Now you've got, also you got brake fluid. What are the other two?
Well, the first one here is for the clutch.
Okay.
And I just use brake fluid because it doesn't have to, be temperature associated. Right. And then the second one is for the rear braking system, and the third one there is for the front braking system. So the braking systems are separate on this car, front and rear totally. So.
Okay. What was the purpose in separating the two?
Safety.
Safety.
Yeah. Just
in case one fails.
Right. If one fails and you have a complete system, you're going to lose all of your brakes. This way, at least you have either front or rear brakes, providing you don't have a catastrophic failure.
Correct. Okay, and then of course you've got you got an RPM. I can't quite see in there, but you've got this must be an RPM gauge.
Yep, tachometer there, and then I've got first one is water temp, or actually oil pressure.
Okay.
Then oil temperature and water temperature.
Okay, and then the bottom gauge?
The bottom one is fuel gauge, and then I also have that black gauge is EGT for exhaust gas temperatures.
Wow. Whew. Now, how many gears does it have?
This particular car has 5.
5.
And
plus reverse?
Yes.
Okay.
And it has a fifth gear, but in this particular transmission, I don't have a high gear like a 0.86 gear. It's a 0.68, just a regular overdrive.
Okay.
So, and at Road America, you get up to, into fifth gear. And but here you don't really get into fifth.
No, not
so it's just
long
4.
enough. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. And now when you do these seats, you can buy them with different sizes, or you can have them fabricated to your body.
Right.
Is this a standard?
This is a standard Sparco seat, and just happens to fit my body pretty good. So works out well.
Okay, let's step to the back here a minute. I like it that you've kept the look original. I think these cars just had a really nice look to them. Okay, so obviously the red things in the back here are tow hooks in case you need to be towed. Correct. And you've got 2 in the front.
2 in the front as well.
Okay.
These I made kind of like you can get them for Mustangs and stuff, to where they would flip down, and I use them for the tie downs in the car, and in case I'm get in a gravel trap or something, we can pull the car out with them. So
Okay.
And then the fronts are on a bar that goes across. Same thing. It's for tie downs in the trailer. And again, being towed like I had to at Road America when my engine blew up.
Right.
So.
Now, you've actually got a defroster grid in your window. Now, is that just the way the window came?
Yes.
Or, okay. I wasn't sure if there was a purpose for that.
A lot of guys, you can put in different windshields. You could put in Lexan if you wanted. I just, to get the car on track and get experience with the car, I just put the original glass back in. So this is original.
Okay.
The windshield is original. And, of course, it's got the safety tie downs that are required by SCCA.
I just think it's all, in the original design, they didn't extend the defrosters for the rest of the windshield. Figured you're just looking straight back through the mirror.
Yeah.
And you can see all the extra structural support.
Yep.
Because if you do roll, you want to be safe.
Absolutely.
You want to be able to walk away from it. And then is your gas tank inside there?
The gas tank, if I'll show you here. I've fabricated this, and of course SCCA requires that the fuel cell be separated from the driver.
Okay.
And I purchased this, but built everything else.
Okay.
And the fuel cell is down here.
Oh,
and
wow.
This happens to be a 12-gallon fuel cell. I usually run about 6 gallons in it.
Okay.
Rather than carry the extra weight. And it's all made out of aluminum. So, again, lightweight.
Very nice. And underneath your helmet, you've got another tank of sorts. You got the fire extinguisher.
Right.
What is the secondary red tank?
The other one is for the battery. It's the battery box.
Okay.
And it's there for weight distribution, for to offset my weight with a fire extinguisher and the battery. And then in front of that, underneath the Hans device, I have a cooler, which comes in handy when it gets hot.
Yo, absolutely. Let's walk around this side. There's a couple more buttons here. You have got a pull lever here and a switch. Now, I think this is just the master on-off.
Master on-off. And this is for the fire, and for corner workers in case they need to, and that's, of course, why I have the E on the outside and the electrical off. I also have a pull right near me if those goes off, and then I have nozzles in front of me by the fuel cell and also in the engine compartment.
So when any one of these are pulled, then it automatically comes right out of your fire extinguisher.
Yep, it's about a 4-liter container, and it'll spray aqueous foam all over the place. Excellent. And just, hopefully put out any fire that might happen.
Correct. What is the blue rotary knob?
That's for my brake bias.
And the cool shirt button.
Yep, the cool shirt button, I press that, and all of a sudden I'm nice and cool on my torso.
I like it.
And then, the blue knob is for brake bias, front to rear.
Okay. So, and that I would imagine, do you ever tinker with that during the race? Or?
Occasionally. If all of a sudden having trouble, in the braking, and it's not just kind of squatting down and setting, you might adjust that a little bit. But normally, no, I don't touch it.
Okay. Because I would imagine your full concentration is on driving and shifting.
Right.
So now, do you do this full time, or did you have another career while you did this?
Well, actually, I'm retired. I retired about 2.5 years ago. I was
Congratulations.
Fortunate enough to be able to do that. And I had been working on this car and actually racing it the first year I retired. So this was kind of my summer project. Yeah. And, so I try and get into 4 or 5 weekends a year racing this. And other than that, hobbies are, woodworking, metalworking, and just kind of trades type stuff. And
so this is the kind of thing. I guess my point is that you can do this without being full time.
Right.
This can be a side hobby. I mean, you worked for years getting this car done, and you've changed the motor, and it all takes some money, it takes some time, but it doesn't. For you guys watching, if you're interested in racing, it's not something you have to have. I don't have to have the cash now to buy the car, the motor, everything, and go. I can do it over time.
Exactly.
Now, I imagine you've met a lot of people.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Okay. And you've mentioned, when we were talking earlier, mentioned some of the friends that you have. But you make connections, and you also find people who have knowledge.
Correct.
That you can say, well, I don't know, what about this? Well, I've driven this class of car for a while. Here's what you want to look for. I mean, you can get help from the community.
Yep.
Now, Officially, your wife is your sponsor.
Well, we'll say officially yes.
We'll say officially, but she's not on camera here, but she's here today supporting. She comes along to all your races.
Yes, she does. Yeah,
Okay.
and she doesn't like to work on the car necessarily, but you know, she's a great chef, and she kind of keeps things moving along. So she's very, very helpful, and
a nice
I really
pit
do
boss.
appreciate it. Yes, kind of a pit boss. Yes.
So, tell us what your favorite memory is,
Oh my gosh.
or a favorite memory of this car, or any previous car.
Well, actually, probably my favorite memory was the car I had previous to this. Was just like this, but it was bright yellow.
Okay.
And it was it actually, under the previous driver, had won the June Sprints in 2005, and I won one of the weekend races up here at Brainerd with that car.
Oh, wow.
Had pole position, fastest time of the day, and won
Man,
the race. So
triple
that's
crown.
probably my greatest memory. My second greatest memory, not that you asked me, but
No,
is,
go right
with
ahead.
This car last year, I did win one race.
Okay.
I was first place, so, and again, got to have pole position, and that's pretty exciting for me.
Oh, absolutely. And you got a new engine to test out this weekend?
Exactly.
Well, good luck on the racetrack, Tim, and thank you so much for spending your time with us today. We really appreciate it.
Appreciate it myself. Thank you.